Hello and welcome to Dinis Guarda YouTube podcast series. This time from Barcelona and very exciting and beautiful weather, and talking about the present and future of technology, and as well all the areas when it comes to tech exchange. And I'm here in the IBM TechXchange Summit EMEA, and one of the things I'm always very excited is to learn with the experts, to learn with the people that make technology, and to understand all of us that are in business and technology, how we can use all these technologies to empower us and not the other way around. So today I'm here with Herndon, the Vice President of IBM, that is responsible for embedding AI and Watsonx, and as well responsible for the build ISV and build partner ecosystem, and a personality in the ecosystem of IBM for some time, but always freshing in the sense of bringing new insights and new areas of knowledge. Great to have you here, Don.
Thank you, Dinis. Thanks for having me here. It's great to be here.
My pleasure. So you are a personality that is touching probably one of the most important part of any business worldwide, but of course in IBM, and you've been doing this for some time, so you learn and you have as well maturity and experience. So how did that start? How did it start? A bit of your background? How did you end up actually in tech and in IBM?
How did I end up in tech and IBM? I, shortly after college was dabbling around a little bit with some very early technology and scripting languages, and thought I wanted to be a developer for a long time. So, and I was really interested in how data related to each other, data sources and information all tied together. And that led me on a path and a journey to work for IBM. I joined several years ago, I'll say, in technical sales organization, and starting to work with a lot of large enterprise organizations and clients that were adopting technology to address business initiatives and business needs and provide value not only to their organizations but their clients. So as my career evolved, I worked with organizations across multiple industries, across multiple geographies, starting in North America, but then expanding out into all of the parts of the world now at this point in time, and have really seen the ways that organizations take advantage of technology and how they adopt and how they adapt to everything from new trends to hot technologies, to taking advantage of technology to address regulations and to address customer needs, has changed over that time as well. Which brings me today. I spent some time in several different parts of the organization and different clients, and a few years ago started working more and more with our ecosystem and our partners, and today have the absolute, probably one of my favorite jobs that I've ever had at IBM, and that's talking with organizations and ISVs and companies really that want to embed technology into the offerings and solutions they deliver to their clients commercially. So not necessarily these companies building it on their own, but taking advantage of technology that IBM builds that gives them a competitive advantage, that allows them to reach new clients and reach new markets so that they can grow their businesses as well. So very, very exciting.
Yeah, and it's impressive, and as well your experience that goes through the tech ecosystem of IBM, which is one of the biggest tech ecosystems in the world, but as well your experience. So I have one question. So when you start wanting to develop, then from developing, of course, technology changed massive, and it keeps changing more than ever, and the velocity as well keeps increasing. So in this background of yours, and as well in your experience working with these multiple waves, is there any history that you want to, especially on the way the partner ecosystem help you understand the innovation, but as well you help case studies that really made some groundbreaking and something that stay, I would say, as a legacy?
The vast experience that I've had with clients and with partners and organizations that are adopting technology is that many times when we're working with these companies, they have identified an initiative to expand or accelerate their growth initiatives that they have in their organizations, or to address very specific customer needs around a particular area of their domain or their industry that really does matter to how that company grows and how that company attracts new clients in the future. So I've had many experiences around retaining customers, providing better service, digitizing and automating how companies interact with their client base, whether it be from call centers or problem resolution to also, how companies sell to new clients, how the companies attract new markets and get into new industries. I would say that one of the areas that is a highlight for me in terms of, you mentioned disrupting technologies and what happened when the technology became part of that evolution for that organization, was when we were introducing aggregated experiences or user experiences and online experiences for our customers. And back at that time, maybe this is 2010, 2011 timeframe, we wanted to bring web-based experiences to clients, to employees, to all parts of the organization. But there was always a question about, how do we do that? How do we do that effectively? What kind of applications do we include in that experience? And what does it look like if I am producing an experience that is ready for my customer or producing an experience that's ready for my employees? Aggregating that together, making it personalized, making it access controlled, and taking advantage of security in that user experience so that we made sure that we were delivering the right kind of information to the right person in the right organization at the right time. And I really think that was a catalyst in terms of technology evolution and how technology is used to interact with other people and organizations and with employees. And then if I look at the evolution that we've seen now with the introduction of AI over the last several years, a lot of our focus now is on productivity in the same context maybe that we were talking about in 2010 or 2012. But today, taking advantage of AI being the new technology to accelerate productivity for employees, for businesses, and for organizations that want to attract how new clients and how they work with their clients as well.
Yeah, that's a key element because the productivity is actually probably the biggest challenge as technology becomes more disruptive and more, I would say, with a more sense of velocity that takes us out of our
I think
seats.
velocity is a really key word because technology disruptors are also often areas that we think will accelerate what an organization is trying to do. So, taking advantage of that in all ways possible to drive outcomes for that company is going to be super important. I think the same goes to AI where we are today.
So you lead business development and strategic partnerships management and the creation and execution of strategic revenue growth initiatives. So on this, there's a part of business development, there's a part of people relationships, and there's a part of technology and continuous innovation. How do you manage these three areas?
Oh, that's a great question. And all three areas have to intersect at some point in order for us to be successful. Let's just break it apart for a minute and talk about, how do you work with organizations that are looking to innovate using technology? And that's really, I think, where IBM shines in terms of being able to bring our product and our technical expertise to the table for organizations to co-create and work together on addressing the business initiatives that they have. So using and leveraging the technology in that way. From a relationship management perspective, building relationships between us and our partners or us and our clients is very important to IBM because it gives us an understanding of how they go to market, how they make money, how do they work with their clients, how do they work with their ecosystems, because ecosystems aren't just between us and them. Ecosystems, really, to be valuable to an organization, have multiple layers and multiple aspects of different parties coming together to really drive innovation for that particular organization or for their product set and their employees and their customers, I should say. And then the third aspect, really talking about why it's mutually beneficial for us to partner and build a partnership together, is really around leveraging the technology like we spoke about to drive innovation, but also, more importantly, how do we find and provide benefits and programs that support an organization in the way that they grow their market share, in the way that they attract new customers, in the way that they interact with their customer base and they retain their customers and expand and offer new functionality to those customers that they're working with on a regular basis. So when you take all three aspects that you mentioned and you combine them together, I think that really is the beauty and the power that we have when we're talking about working with ISVs and working with companies, is really around not only embedding the technology, but providing confidence and providing capability that they can leverage to drive the innovation that they want to drive as well. So that's, a key focus for me in my current role is around enabling organizations to drive growth.
So I have to ask one question on that. So partnership ecosystem is key for any company,
Yes.
whatever business you do. And IBM is effectively one of the biggest with tens of thousands of companies and organizations. So what would be an element that you define for the present partners and for others that want to be partners? Because in the end of the day, any business is about an ecosystem.
Yeah.
And especially, so what it would be from your experience, and as well, you're leading this division, which is, I think, the most important for any business. What is the element that you learn, okay, a partnership can only work if you focus on this, and that, at least one or 2 steps?
Mm-hmm. A partnership is really going to be the most successful when you focus on the initiatives of both organizations and we come together and we have a conversation about what the partnership means to you and what the partnership means to me and what goals are we trying to accomplish, what outcomes are we trying to drive together, and then where do we find a way to drive that in a mutually beneficial model for both of our organizations. But I think more importantly than that even is for an organization to decide to partner with a company like IBM. When they make that decision, what do they base that decision on? For me, a lot of times they're basing it on the flexibility that they have in the commercial model that we have available to partners to take advantage of so that it helps them control their cost, have predictable visibility into the technology they're going to incorporate or embed into their solutions, that we provide other benefits beyond just the commercial agreements and frameworks that we have in place, but also benefits that the organization can take advantage of that enable their growth and accelerate their growth in their company too. Because I think that's one of the main reasons we look at technology, but then also one of the main reasons that we want to partner with organizations or organizations want to partner with IBM is that we offer benefits and programs around co-selling and co-marketing and technology expertise. And here you mentioned we're at TechXchange, and we've heard a lot today from the ecosystem engineering organization that invests in how do we co-create products and solutions and offerings that companies, partners, organizations can take to their clients together to really drive value and take full advantage of the technology that they're adopting. So the benefits coupled with driving the business outcomes that are mutually beneficial to both of us and to that organization having visibility and predictability into their cost and their expense associated with technology adoption, I think are three really key aspects to why organizations partner with IBM.
So IBM, of course, is a major player that works with other major players, which is quite unique on these areas, and especially on the overview how we integrate the IBM Watsonx, the hybrid cloud, and a lot of other ecosystems. So some of the giants you are working with is AWS, NTT, and the list goes. Mm-hmm. So tell us how it works, because that's quite impressive that you managed to make the bridge with these giants, but as well keep a flow with your clients. And that is very important actually for the clients.
Yeah. So I mentioned a couple minutes ago, one of the beneficial areas of building ecosystems is the multiple layers of ecosystems that you can have when you partner with IBM, for example. IBM made tremendous investments in our partnerships with AWS and Microsoft to expand and to support companies and organizations that were also partnering with those big hyperscalers, for example, in the way that we enabled an organization to take advantage of hybrid cloud. So driving our hybrid cloud story and our messaging around flexibility in the vendors that you work with at different parts of this technology journey that you're on becomes a very important aspect to an organization when they decide to partner from a technology perspective with IBM. So, flexibility in commercial models and flexibility and predictability around cost and expense is one aspect, but a lot of times when I'm working with organizations like ISVs who may have already made investments and have commitments with hyperscalers around their cloud consumption, and being able to incorporate the technology journey they're on with IBM from a Watsonx perspective or an AI perspective with the hybrid cloud journey that they're on from Red Hat or from the hyperscalers becomes a really integral part of how they deliver an end-to-end solution to their clients. So being able to leverage the entirety of the IBM ecosystem and the vast network of partners that we have available at multiple levels becomes very attractive to those organizations as they make their technology decisions and they start to adopt and execute on their initiatives around AI as well.
Well, that is one of the impressive areas, I think, of IBM ecosystem. So let's touch AI, okay, which of course is the biggest thing in tech. So IBM was
the
one
biggest
of
buzz.
yeah, the biggest buzz. Yes, there's a lot of things. So you have the IBM, of course, was one of the first, probably the first big corporate player in AI in the world. And as well, I just researched, and it has probably one of the biggest network of patents in the world. I think only comparable with Microsoft, if you look at, and these are pure patent facts. And as well, now you have IBM Watsonx. So IBM Watsonx is a very special model of AI. So first of all, can you talk about how do you, for the partner ecosystem, but as well for people that are not part of the partner ecosystem, how IBM Watsonx works, top level, of course, but as well the advantage for the partner ecosystem because it integrates a lot of different AI models.
Yeah.
It's not a conventional one.
So the introduction of the Watsonx platform has been very exciting, and it really does encompass not only technology that's available from IBM. As you mentioned, we've been developing and working with AI for several years now, and I can recall the days back in the early 10s when we were on game shows to show that AI was a real thing, right? And so here we are today. We've evolved and we've learned a lot over the last 10 years plus to understand how organizations will adopt AI and technologies that include AI and automation. But I would say that one of the key factors to Watsonx and the platform and the announcements that we made in 2023 and that we still deliver continuously around Watsonx AI for how you incorporate models into your journey and your evolution of AI inside of your organization, inside of your company, not requiring you to use a model that was designed by IBM only, but partnering again, another level of ecosystem here, with companies like Llama 2 and Meta to deliver additional models and foundation models around domain expertise so that when an organization is starting to look at how do I incorporate AI and data models into my product or my business initiative, that I have the flexibility to choose the model that meets my needs and that is pre-trained on a set of data or in a domain or in an industry that I can take advantage of easily. The Watsonx.ai platform gives you the capability to tune those models, to build the models with confidence and with security and transparency, and knowing where the data resides and how to track the data and having accuracy associated with the data so that you, again, can incorporate, as you're rolling out your AI strategy, the trust that the model is going to be sound. With that, another very key piece of the Watsonx platform is watsonx.governance, which we've introduced as a set of tools or a toolkit, if you will, that really does allow developers to have insight into model bias and hallucinations, and really reduce the amount of that will happen in the data in the AI models as they continue to tune them and to train them, or when they need to be retrained because there was an issue. This toolkit is very robust in terms of understanding regulatory and policy and other aspects of security and governance that need to be incorporated into the model design. So that flexibility delivered through Watsonx.governance will give those organizations confidence, again, another level of confidence, if you will, that the data, again, is trusted, it's transparent, we know where the data resides, we know how the data was incorporated into the model, we know how the model was trained, and we know that there's going to be protections. The company can feel that they're protected from exposures or potential litigations and things like that due to how the models were trained and where the models were trained. So,
Well, that's and I think that's probably one of the most, I would say, most important things for any business worldwide as AI becomes day to day internet, yeah, like it was the internet before. So, one question I have: so you touched the model from the Watsonx platform. So let's look at this from the partnership ecosystem. So you are as well, of course, in your part of your tasks is making sure there's clear governance and ethics. So how do you bring these methodologies? One thing is within the platform with the developers, but as well within the ecosystem, within the partners. Because of course, if you deal with EMEA, you have Middle East, you have Africa. There's a lot of different ways of looking,
yeah,
regulation, ways of looking, even at technology, business, and just to say a few. So from your experience, how do you integrate some are common sense? Sometimes most of this is common sense, like you said, and you cannot forget that just the internet was as big as the AI, but AI has different kind of psychological slash narratives.
I would say what is driving organizations to come work with IBM is around IBM's focus on governance and IBM's focus on trust and our focus and commitment to these organizations that by adopting AI technology with IBM and by using our .governance framework, it is going to give companies a lot of confidence that the that we're taking care of some of the exposures that they would have through the technology versus them having to build protections for those exposures or potential exposures because of regulatory laws and other situations in each country in EMEA, for example, that they won't have to build it outside the technology. The technology has it inherently included so that when they adopt the technology, they're adopting the full governance suite that comes along with it. And again, they're giving them confidence that the technology will enable them to remain protected.
As in experience working with partners all over the world, big players, small players, what would be some of the best practice you have from your career? Because best practice or two, and one worst, because we have all this to learn with the good and the bad.
My best advice for organizations that are getting started today, whether it be they're considering embedding AI technology into products and solutions they deliver to their clients, or it is they're going to adopt AI technology for their internal usage, how they run their business. So we call this AI for business a lot. Enterprise ready, enterprise grade AI technology that an organization can use to accelerate productivity and deliver other enhancements inside of how they work with their employees, right? But in my world, I spend a lot of time working with other companies that want to adopt AI technology, not have to build it themselves. They want to buy it from the trusted vendor like IBM that does focus so much on governance and trust and transparency. Best practices, get started. Because a lot of times I think companies are saying, I know that I need to jump on the AI bandwagon. I don't know where to start. So I think today in 2024, organizations do see the need to start, and they see the need to really begin to look at how does AI enhance my product, or how does AI enhance my business and how I work with my inside of the productivity inside of my organization. But getting started is sometimes easier said than done. And then I would say look at where you will get practical outcomes quickly. So don't bite off the whole pie. AI is going to be an evolution, it's a journey, it's going to continue to evolve. And we're going to continue to release technology that makes it even better than it is today. But you have to start with where you can see immediate outcomes, where you can drive immediate value for your organization or for your clients, and then work on where do I start and how do I get there quickly. Leverage some of the resources that IBM offers in terms of our ecosystem engineering teams and our technical experts who can come in and co-create with you. So those would be best practices. I would say pitfalls to avoid, or where have I seen things go a little bit wrong. I would say taking on more than you can deliver, because you know you want to deliver a lot of the functionality in your product, for example, but it was a larger effort than you thought of, or it didn't drive the right kind of outcome. It wasn't adopted well by the end user, whether that be an employee or client or a partner. I would say that not building for the industry that you're in is probably something that you would go back and want to reconsider how you do next time. Take advantage of your industry expertise, your domain knowledge, and really start to look at how does that incorporate into the strategy I'm building for AI.
It's excellent and actually very wise words. Last one, and I think it touches a part of what you mentioned. So IBM has, besides the governance and the efforts on ethics and as well a continuity, there's a legacy tech. And legacy, we cannot look at technology without the other parts. You can put AI, but you still have to have APIs, you have to have cloud computing. So with generative AI, a lot of these things have been kind of broke. There's a sense of breaking because you can actually use ChatGPT to start coding, a lot of different things. So as someone that understands this legacy tech, and as well for people that might have a bit more panic in how do you deal with this, and for instance, some releases of one technology can kill a lot of startups that are making a lot of effort. So how do you, with your experience and as well wisdom on dealing with these ecosystems, and as well you went through a lot of waves, so sometimes the surprises are
Lots
less.
of waves, yeah.
Yeah. So what's the advice and how you look at these things?
When it comes to generative AI, and I would say the buzz around generative AI today, rightfully so, it came almost out of nowhere and then made organizations and businesses start to think about generative AI. We'd never heard this terminology before, and now all of a sudden we have to incorporate our roadmaps and our product life cycles to incorporate generative AI. But that said, it is one piece of an entire AI puzzle. There's automation aspects and data science aspects and other ways that you can adopt and build your organization, be ready for AI, and to take advantage of the functionality and feature rich capabilities that generative AI will provide in that AI space or in that AI initiative. So for example, I'm working with an ISV that has a development organization, and they are looking at a monolithic platform, software platform that has been built and evolved over several years, maybe even a couple decades at this point in time. And they're saying, how do we leverage generative AI to help us take the old software platform and transform that into a new services-based, services-oriented, modernized software platform. And one of the key areas that they're looking at for that project is generative AI in terms of code. How do they write code? How do they incorporate all of the traditional development aspects of developing software into new aspects of developing software? So, you know, those types of clear advantages that generative AI will offer an organization should be leveraged and should be built into the overall AI plan. But to your point about legacy uh, systems and applications and software that you have in your organization, should you abandon all and just move toward a complete generative AI story? No, I don't think that'd be in anybody's best interest. And generative AI, like I mentioned, is one piece of the puzzle around how do I incorporate and build my path and my journey for AI. And it comes with everything else being considered as you build that journey, as you build your plan, and as you get started on this journey with generative AI.
Thank you so much for your time, and
Likewise, Dinesh,
continue
thank you.
a great work, because it's not easy.
It's really fun.
And take it to the
It
next level.
really is fun. It's an exciting time, not only in the AI world, but in the generative AI world, in the automation world, and also, how do we really build trust and rebuild trust and have trust in technology that we're taking advantage of, that really does put my company, your company, and all other companies out there on a path uh, to growth and attracting new clients and new markets. So a really exciting time, and the fundamental benefit of technology, and that's how do we use technology to drive business outcomes. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Likewise.
Thank you.